Hello, everyone. Today we're diving into a topic that affects us all: anger. Anger is a natural emotion, just like joy, sadness, and fear. But uncontrolled anger can harm your relationships and well-being. We've all been there: traffic, arguments, disobedient kids. Mastering anger management is crucial. It's like having a superpower. It helps you stay calm, communicate effectively, and build stronger relationships. We'll explore powerful techniques to regain control and live a happier life. The first step to managing anger is recognizing when you're about to blow your top. Don't make any decisions when you're angry. Anger can cloud your judgment. Think of it like a pot of water on the stove. Your anger builds up in a similar way. You might start feeling your heart race, your muscles tense up. That's where taking a time out comes in. You're taking control of the situation instead of letting your anger control you. The first step to managing anger is recognizing when you're about to blow your top. Don't make any decisions when you're angry. Think of it like a pot of water on the stove. As the heat rises, it boils over. These are signs you're reaching your boiling point. That's where taking a time out comes in. You're taking control instead of letting anger control you. How do you take a time out? It's as simple as it sounds. Excuse yourself when anger rises. Tell them you need a few minutes. Go for a walk, listen to music, or do deep breathing exercises. Find a quiet place to gather your thoughts. Distance yourself physically and mentally. Focus on something positive or calming. Listen to your favorite song or engage in a joyful activity. Shift your focus to positivity. Now, let's talk about triggers. Triggers are those specific things that set you off, that push your buttons and make your blood boil. They're like landmines in your life, and if you're not careful, you'll keep stepping on them and blowing up. Everyone's triggers are different. For some people, it might be traffic jams. For others, it might be a messy house. And for others, it might be a certain tone of voice. The important thing is to identify what your triggers are so you can start to manage them effectively. Think about the last few times you've gotten angry. What were the situations? Who were you with? What were you thinking about? By identifying the common threads in these situations, you can start to pinpoint your triggers. Once you know what your triggers are, you can start to develop strategies for dealing with them. This might involve avoiding certain situations altogether, changing your perspective on a particular issue, or learning how to communicate your needs more effectively. Now let's be real. You can't always avoid your triggers. Life's full of surprises, and sometimes those surprises come in the form of traffic jams, messy houses, and, dare I say it, difficult people. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. One effective strategy is to reframe your thinking. For example, if you're constantly getting angry about traffic, try to see it from a different perspective. Instead of focusing on the inconvenience, use that time to listen to a podcast, call a friend, or simply enjoy the scenery. Another strategy is to communicate your needs assertively. If a certain tone of voice sets you off, let the person know. Say something like, "I know you might not mean it this way, but when you use that tone, it comes across as disrespectful to me. And remember, sometimes the best way to handle a trigger is to simply walk away." If you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, excuse yourself from the situation and take a time out. There's no shame in prioritizing your own well-being. You know, folks, we all experience anger. It's a natural human emotion. But how we manage that anger, well, that's what separates the high roaders from the train wrecks. And let me tell you something. Exercise is a powerful tool in your anger management toolbox. When you exercise, your body releases endorphins. Endorphins are like little mood lifters, natural painkillers. They help reduce stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. It's like trading in a clenched fist for an open hand. Exercise can also be a healthy distraction from whatever's got you fired up. Instead of stewing in your anger, you're out there, getting your heart rate up, focusing on your body. It's a way to channel that energy into something positive. And let's not forget the physical benefits. Regular exercise can improve your sleep, boost your self-esteem, and give you a sense of accomplishment. All of these things contribute to a calmer, more centered you. Now, I'm not saying you have to become a marathon runner or a bodybuilder overnight. The key is to find an activity you enjoy and make it a regular part of your routine. It could be as simple as going for a brisk walk, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or putting on some music and dancing around your living room. Find something that gets you moving and clears your head, and don't be afraid to mix it up. Try different activities, find a workout buddy, or join a class. The more you enjoy it, the more likely you are to stick with it. Remember, exercise is not just about physical health. It's about mental and emotional well-being too. So, get up, get moving, and start managing that anger the right way. We live in a world of distractions, folks. Our phones are buzzing, our minds are racing, and it's easy to get caught up in the chaos. That's where mindfulness comes in. It's about learning to slow down, tune into the present moment, and observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. You see, anger often stems from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Mindfulness helps you break free from that cycle by bringing your attention to the here and now. It's about acknowledging your anger without letting it control you. Think of it like this: you're the sky, and your thoughts and emotions are like clouds passing through. Mindfulness allows you to observe those clouds without getting swept away by the storm. Now, mindfulness takes practice. It's not a magic solution that will eliminate anger overnight. But with consistent effort, you can develop a greater sense of self-awareness and learn to respond to anger in a healthier, more constructive way. How do you practice mindfulness? There are many techniques. Find what resonates with you. One common practice is mindfulness meditation. Focus on your breath and observe your thoughts. Another technique is mindful walking. Pay attention to each step in your surroundings. Take deep breaths to release tension. Mindfulness is a journey, not a destination. You know, folks, communication is the key to any healthy relationship, and that includes the relationship you have with yourself. When it comes to anger management, learning to communicate your feelings effectively is crucial. Bottling up your anger is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes a lot of effort, and eventually it's going to pop up, often with messy consequences. Expressing your anger in a healthy way, on the other hand, can prevent resentment and misunderstandings. Now, I'm not talking about flying off the handle or lashing out. It's about learning to articulate your anger assertively, which means expressing yourself clearly and respectfully without resorting to aggression or passivity. It's about saying, hey, when you did this, it made me feel angry because... This type of communication allows you to address the issue directly while also acknowledging the other person's perspective. Communication is a two-way street, folks. It's not just about speaking your truth, but also about actively listening to the other person. When someone is expressing their anger to you, try to really hear what they're saying. Put yourself in their shoes and try to understand their perspective. Active listening involves paying attention to both verbal and nonverbal cues, asking clarifying questions, and reflecting back what you've heard to ensure understanding. It shows the other person that you respect their feelings and are invested in finding a resolution. Now, conflicts are a normal part of any relationship. The key is to approach them with a spirit of collaboration rather than combat. Instead of trying to win the argument, focus on finding a solution that works for both parties involved. Remember, effective communication is an ongoing process. It takes practice, patience, and a willingness to be open and honest with yourself and others. But the rewards of healthy communication are well worth the effort. You know, folks, when that anger starts bubbling up, you're ready to erupt like a volcano. That's when you gotta hit the brakes and shift gears. One of the most effective ways is through relaxation techniques. Deep breathing is simple and effective. Take a deep breath and count to 10. You're sending a message to your brain to chill out. It's like hitting the reset button on your nervous system. And the best part is, nobody can tell you're doing it. Some folks hear relaxation techniques and think it's hokey-pokey stuff, but there's real science behind this. Meditation changes the brain, increasing gray matter in areas for emotional regulation. Think of meditation like taking your brain to the gym. It takes practice, but stick with it. Over time, you'll find it easier to access that calm place within. Remember, you're in the driver's seat. We've all been there, those moments when anger, frustration, or resentment bubble over. It's like a pressure cooker inside, ready to explode. Bottling it up is a recipe for disaster. That's where journaling comes in. A judgment-free zone to unleash your feelings. Just you, a pen and paper, free to let it all out. A conversation with yourself to gain clarity. There's no right or wrong way to journal, just write whatever comes to mind. Journaling isn't just about venting, it's a powerful tool for self-discovery. Track your anger episodes to identify patterns and triggers. Are there specific situations or people that set you off? Think of your journal as a detective's notebook. Develop strategies to manage those triggers and break the cycle. Journaling empowers you to become an expert on your own anger. Let's face it, folks, dealing with anger can be tough. It's easy to feel like you're the only one struggling. But let me tell you something, you are not alone. Millions of people grapple with anger issues. Remember, asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It shows you're committed to personal growth. Now, therapy isn't just for crazy people. Everyone can benefit from it. It's like going to the gym for your mental health. Therapists provide a safe space to explore feelings. Finding the right therapist is like finding the right pair of shoes. It's a journey worth taking. You know, we spend so much time focusing on what's wrong, what we don't have, who's upset us. It's like we're hardwired to hone in on the negative. But let me tell you something. That's a surefire way to fuel the fire of anger. We need to shift that focus, folks. We need to start paying attention to the good stuff, the things we're grateful for. It could be something as simple as a sunny day, a good cup of coffee, or the health of your loved ones. When you start counting your blessings, you're training your mind to see the positive. You're shifting your perspective from a place of lack to a place of abundance. And that, my friends, can make all the difference. Gratitude helps you appreciate what you have, and that can extinguish anger before it even ignites. It's about realizing that even when things are tough, there's still good in the world and in your life. Now I know what you might be thinking. Dr. Phil, you want me to be grateful when I'm ready to explode? Listen, I'm not saying it's a magic cure, but it's a powerful tool. When anger rears its ugly head, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what am I grateful for in this moment? It could be something small, anything to help shift your focus away from the anger. Remember, anger is often a symptom of feeling like life is unfair. Gratitude helps you see that maybe, just maybe, things aren't so bad after all. It's about finding the silver lining, even on the cloudiest of days. So I challenge you to make gratitude a daily practice. Keep a gratitude journal, share what you're grateful for with loved ones, or simply take a moment each day to reflect on the good in your life. You might be surprised by the impact it has on your anger. Let's talk about something we all need but don't always prioritize: sleep. You might not think it's a big deal, but let me tell you, folks, skimping on sleep is like throwing gasoline on a fire when it comes to anger. When you're sleep deprived, your body and mind are running on fumes. Your patience wears thin, your fuse gets shorter, and you're more likely to fly off the handle at the slightest provocation. Think about it. How often have you felt irritable and on edge after a bad night's sleep? We've all been there. Sleep deprivation messes with your emotional regulation, making it harder to control your anger. It's like your brain's control center is offline and your emotions are running the show. That's a recipe for disaster, folks. You wouldn't drive a car with faulty brakes. So why treat your emotional well-being any differently? Now, I understand that life gets busy and sometimes sleep is the first thing to go, but you need to make it a priority for your mental and physical health. Most adults need around 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night. That means creating a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends, and sticking to it as much as possible. Make sure your bedroom is conducive to sleep, dark, quiet, and cool. Avoid caffeine and alcohol before bed, and put away those electronic devices at least an hour before you turn in. Remember, sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's just as important as eating healthy and exercising. So make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. Your anger and everyone around you will thank you for it. Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground in our journey to mastering anger management. Remember, anger is a normal human emotion, but it's how we choose to respond to it that makes all the difference. Take a time out, identify your triggers, get active, practice mindfulness, communicate effectively, and find healthy ways to relax. Journaling, seeking support, and cultivating gratitude are key. And don't forget the power of a good night's sleep. These techniques are your tools for building a calmer, more peaceful you. You are capable of taking control of your emotions and living a happier, healthier life.